a lot about the youth on the roster. Have you noticed how are they handling kind of turning things around each week and putting last week's game behind them to focus on the upcoming opponent?
Yeah, they get it. They understand that they need to, attack and embrace and love the process. They don't know the process yet right now. They're learning. And that's why this offseason is going to be so critical. You know, the way that I look at it, we've got 2 weeks here to try to move the needle of our program, try to improve, and then get them home for a little bit, get them back in January, and attack this thing relentlessly. And we got to do a much better job as coaches to make sure that we become more accountable, more disciplined, and teach these guys how to win. I mean, that's what we got to do. I mean, think about it. No one on this team besides nobody on this team's ever won. So you're teaching guys, to see something and do things that they've never, ever done before. And the good thing that we've done in recruiting in the 20 class and the 21 that we'll sign here in 2 weeks is that we recruited kids that came from winning programs. They understand how to win. They've won state championships. They get it. So, that's what we got to continue to do to get that winning culture rolling in our program.
Heading into Akron, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, they haven't won. You guys haven't won. Is there a thought of, we don't want to be at the bottom of the MAC. This is our opportunity to get that first win, to finally notch one up? Absolutely.
That's the way that we've approached every single game. But obviously we want to attack this week and win the game.
Scott,
but again, going back to your question real quick, Christy, right now beating Akron is important. There's no question about it. We want to win. There's no doubt about it. But that doesn't solve our problems right now. We've got a lot of things that we got to correct. Win, lose, or draw, even if we would have played well and beat Ohio U, and it still doesn't solve where we're at right now. There's a lot of things that need to take place in the offseason to learn, what it truly takes to win daily. You watch these great programs. I said it to our kids today, the Alabamas of the world. They've got great players. Don't get me wrong. Talented players, super talented players. But their culture is so elite, it's ridiculous. And that's why they're, a national championship program. They not only have talent, they've got an elite culture. And that's what we need to get here. And that's what we're striving for. Fortunately, I've been part of a lot of really elite cultures. And it's every single day is a teaching moment here. I mean, I'm talking from anything from walking into the meeting room and sitting up, walking into the meeting room and having a pencil and a paper, walking into the meeting room and conducting yourself like a pro. I mean, there's a lot that goes into winning. And right now everything is education right now, everything. And it has been since the minute I walked in the door.
I want to build off of that for a second, because we're in a society where it's here now, results driven, but you're talking long-term, moving the needle and the future. It's not just these next 2 games. How hard is that for 18 to 21-year-olds to understand in the society that they live in? It's here and now, but for you, it's the long term.
Christy, you couldn't have asked a better question, because today I showed a clip of Matt Campbell. I know it's all over Twitter, talking about the process, how you got to love the process, talking about how, our football cultures are built on discipline, toughness, togetherness. Well, right now, our society, it's all me, 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 me. It is. And it's a society right now that is instant gratification. We think that we graduate from college, we should have a $500,000 job. Well, that's not how the world works. And it is a process. It's a step by step methodical way. And it is hard. It's hard for myself. Hell, I want to win. Everyone wants to win. But you also got to understand the process and all the little details that it takes to win. And when you're not doing those little details, they add up really fast. And that's where we're at right now. But we've got to fight against what society is right now. We got to fight against instant gratification. We got to fight the urge of me, 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 me. And that's why football is such a cool game. And that's why if you do football the right way, you normally go out and you do really well in the business world. So you have all those skill sets that not a lot of other people have.
Scott, two of the issues have been critical downs. When defensively, you guys are giving up too much yards on first down, and then on offense, you guys are really struggling on third and fourth. So defense is struggling to get off the field, offense struggling to stay on it. Are those discipline things that you're seeing, or is it something that it's a blend of multiple things?
It's a blend of multiple things. Like you watched our third down. You had we went down on that first drive and we got it to fourth and manageable. We were going to go for it, and we had a perfect play on. I mean, man fire, exactly what we anticipated, and we dropped the ball. We drop a huge explosion play that's going to keep that drive alive. And then you look at another third down scenario. We have a completely protection breakdown whenever we were in the right protection. And then you have Matt McDonald who makes a bad decision on another third down in regards to you should have checked the ball down to the flat, move along, get the first down or punt in a manageable situation. So it's a multiple things, Nick. It's not one thing. It's not one position group. It is multiple. But that goes back to, Nick, where we need to get discipline. So we know and have trust that every single guy's on every single play is going to do their job. So that's the part where we need to gain, that trust that, you've done so much of all the right stuff in the process that that your buddy to the right, to the left is going to do their job.
Scott, you mentioned earlier on about tackles not being made against Ohio. Got me to thinking, is there anything that is in practice that are restricted and COVID related that are leading to problems during games?
March 15th or whenever that was it. The minute that we lost spring, I mean, you watch defenses right now across the country and in the NFL, no one's tackling worth a darn right now. And unfortunately, we're a developmental program, so it's getting blown up even more. I mean, it's so obvious, it's ridiculous. But yeah, March 15th or whenever they shut this thing down, that was a major, I mean, think about it. We had a makeshift training camp. We didn't have spring football. We were doing P90X in the basement, for crying out loud. I mean, the guys are doing what I was doing. Come on now. I mean, they needed to be in that weight room and developed and having their butts kicked and obtain some discipline and what have not. But to answer your question, it's a problem throughout football right now, and a lot of it's out of our control. And the teams that are developmental or behind, what have not, it just gets exploited even more. So I hope that answered your question.
It's already December tomorrow, which means the signing period's already come up. What has been the challenge in the class of 21 when you got a lot of these kids on campus when they were juniors, but there hasn't been campus visits in 9 months?
Yeah, so surprisingly, whenever you're not doing well, you always worry about recruiting. These kids that we've recruited, they are fired up to come here. They see it. They know who we recruited the year ahead of them. They know they're good players. So they're very excited about it. I think, Nick, the one thing that we did a great job of, not a good job of, a great job of, is the minute in that middle of March or whenever the heck this took place, we went on spring break and we spent all spring break long working out how we can do business as usual and how we were going to recruit and what we were going to do. We foresaw that recruiting was not going to occur this year. I said it the minute that this thing broke, that I go, the chances of having regular recruiting is not happening in 2020. And we attacked it. We came up with a plan. We got good players in this class. I think it could be just as good, if not better, than the 20 class. We got a huge commitment, which I'm not allowed to obviously talk about, a huge commitment yesterday. Probably one of the better defensive players in the class. I don't even know if he's publicly announced it or not, but there's some excitement with the 21 class. They know. I mean, Bowling Green has done really, really well over the years. They know that if we recruit right, we stay inside the box, they're going to play early, that they'll have an opportunity to help us get back. So they're fired up. And just like I said, I thought we did as a staff as good as you could possibly do during a really, really chaotic, crazy situation when it comes to recruiting.
How much activity do you expect in the next couple of weeks here, just in terms of solidifying this class before they can sign early?
You're talking about kids decommitting, committing, and all that other stuff, or?
Yeah, just, I mean, that happens in general, but I'm just, since you getting kids in and then, you know, kids decommitting here, elsewhere, all that stuff, there just tends to be a lot of activity in the lead up to it.
I don't anticipate, you know, you normally have one or two surprises. I don't anticipate a lot of, I don't anticipate to be shocked. I think it's, the kids are so, I mean, think about it. You know, you don't have guys walking into their homes right now. The only way that a recruiter's flipping them is through a phone call. You're not sitting with their parents, you know, besides a Zoom meeting and all that other stuff. So I don't know if there's going to be a ton of change. You know, you'll have your one or two that you're going to get shocked with, but I don't anticipate it. I think kids pretty much are locked into where they're going to go. And I think where it's going to become the wild, wild west, Nick, is I think in January will be the wild, wild west. You know, I anticipate that it'll be a one-time transfer, and I can see the January can turn into a wild, wild west for sure.
And then lastly for me, do you guys expect for sure to take a quarterback in 21?
We did, yes. We're taking a quarterback, yes.